Hey, everybody. Unlocking the potential of the refractometer in your garden. Oh, my God, Andy. Now we're into refractometers. Give it to me, boy. Give it to me. Come on.
A refractometer is one of my favorite things to use. I learned about it early on in the early 70s, and it was a little bit expensive to even buy one. I have 4 refractometers. Sorry, guys, but I started work this morning at 4 o'clock, and I actually took what I'm doing now is I one of the things I want to do here is to actually show some videos of me at work and stuff. And one of the reasons why I'm using the Mac today is because the Mac is the one, my iPhone shoots everything on my iPhone, and I can't get it. My PC just won't take anything I give it to it from my iPhone. It just won't do it. And I figured out how to try to change it over, how to do iGoogle and all these other things. The only thing to do is get the Mac going. So this is what I'm doing now using the Mac. And this will allow me to, because I can do a screen share and show you my the pictures, because whatever I shoot on my iPhone gets transferred over here to the Mac.
Right.
So, and what's interesting with me too is that, see, a refractometer, if you all don't know I'm assuming everybody knows what a refractometer is. We talked about it last time. You think I should go over it again?
Well, I think since that's the specific topic that we're on, I think you should go over it again, Andy.
Okay, so I'm looking around for my refractometer. I have 4 of them, and they have their own lives. They live together. Sometimes I see them over there walking around. Sometimes they're outside, and that's something else going on there too. But I have 4 refractometers. One's very expensive. It's about a $10,000 unit, which I got. Happy Valentine's Day, which I got way back in the early 70s. It was a gift. But at that time, everything, the first time something comes out, it costs a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And, recently, I bought, that would be like 15 years ago, I bought 3 more refractometers. So I bought one that was like, I went to Amazon, and I bought one for $25 plus a little shipping. I also ordered that's a analog. So I also bought a digital refractometer for $300, and that's 2. And then I have another one, which is like $120, something like that. So the $25 one gives me the same reading as a very expensive $10,000 one.
Yeah.
And so a refractometer is a measurement of sugar. It's called Brix. What I've learned about it, interestingly enough, and I don't know how I got started in the refractometer. Probably has to do with the Rodale people, the ones I can think of, because they would be the only ones who probably. But then later on, I remember a little now. So when I started doing my stuff, I always got to meet some very interesting people who are in farming, who are really way ahead of the crowd in terms of doing things organically. And so they were already talking about a refractometer in terms of using a refractometer for your fruit and vegetables.
Right.
Because, it's mainly used in the business for wine making, for beer making. It's also a refractometer in the medical industry. It's a refractometer in astronomy.
Astronomy uses refractometers, I guess, because they're looking at different compounds using it that way.
That's how, when you can look at stars and other planets, it breaks it down to the colors into the elements that they're made up of, right? See?
Right.
And so the refractometer that I use was actually invented by a cook who happened to be a scientist. So he knew about the light waves and how they get. That's why it's called a refractometer, because it refracts the light.
Yeah.
Right. And he originally didn't really make it for minerals. He originally made it so that he can tell how sweet it is.
Yeah. Well, that changes your recipe, my friend. It changes the recipe.
And he somehow figured he figured out that the minerals is what makes it sweet. So that's why the refractometer started using it on plants, because he realized, you can tell when minerals are in the sun and other planets. Why can't I tell the minerals that are in what I eat?
Yeah.
And he wrote a very interesting book, which I want to pass on to everybody. And I have to apologize because it's basically an e-book. I told you about the e-book. It's about the refractometer e-book, and tells you what Brix levels are available. The best I can do today is to let me see. I think I can do preset. Hang on, this hasn't been recorded or anything, so I'm gonna do a share a screen. I don't need
Okay.
a video file. Share a screen. Share a screen. Let me see if I get this together. I'm gonna do. Oh, what happened? Okay, so.
And Victor's asking, how accurate are the refractometers?
Okay, now hang on a second. Now, can you see this screen that I'm sharing?
It hasn't come up on my end yet, Andy.
Okay, so I don't think I'm doing this right somehow. Somehow the screen. Oh, let me see. Hang on a second. No, I screwed up. My screen disappeared, and I'm looking at my. I'm sorry, guys. So I can't do it. Oh, okay, okay, Joe. Let's see. I
Okay, I
don't
think
get
you're
it.
having way too much fun trying to figure this out, Andy.
Okay, hang on a second. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Screen. Select a. So I think I could do a entire screen.
Yeah.
No, doesn't work either. A window. Anyway, it's not going to work. This is cancel. It works on the PC. My Mac is a little weird, different. Anyway, I have
Your PC is up, by the way.
What?
Your
What?
PC is up behind you.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, my PC is up. Yes, it is. Damn you! What the hell is wrong with you? A Mac goes up like that in 5 seconds. The PC has to take 10, 15
Well,
minutes.
look at all the stuff you have on there. I mean, my God, it's full.
Yeah, well, at least you can't see all the good stuff.
We're not going there. That has nothing to do with the refractometer, Andy.
No,
okay?
no.
So how accurate is your average refractometer? You've got a $10,000 one. You've got a $300 one. The difference between the digital and
they all
the
give the same
refractometer.
reading. They all give the identical same reading.
Okay.
Right. So if you take tomato and you have the four refractometers, you put a drop in each one of them, you will get the same identical reading, 2.5, all the way across. So that's just as accurate, right? It isn't varying between refractometers. Yeah. Unless you're saying how accurate is the 245, what does that relate to in accuracy? So what is it measuring? So it measures the Brix level, the level of sugar. But the interesting thing about it, the really interesting thing about it, the way it works, and I think I explained it before, is that, see, Mother Nature is really, really super smart, right? We figured that out, right? So plants, there's a reason why plants are into sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Like us humans, we like sugar, but we're not into sugar. We don't really need we don't make sugar in our body. We don't do these things that a plant does for sugar. So, but it does relate to some extent but the way Mother Nature made it for plants is that the sugar is what transports the minerals throughout the body of the plant. So the higher the sugar level, the more minerals it has.
Okay.
So an inexpensive refractometer does not have the ability to break it down into various different elements, various different trace minerals. In other words, you don't have an expensive refractometer. You're going to have like a bunch of like a rainbow. You can see what they are. You can say, oh look, there's this wide band of copper here, or there's another band of iron here. So you can tell by the width of the band how much there is there. Whereas a good old-fashioned refractometer that we use, it has an entirely different system. All he measures the Brix level. Because remember, most of the time what people do use it for is just to measure sugar. They're not concerned about the minerals. So that's been used for a long time in the wine industry and the beer industry. You know, wine, you want it to be, it's just a certain sweetness, right? Right?
Yeah.
You want it to be a certain level. That's what the refractometer is for. And the refractometer is also used in medicine for your blood and other things. But each one is very different. So if you were to buy a refractometer for medical, go on Google or Amazon and buy a refractometer for medical, you're going to find a whole bunch of other things in that refractometer when you're looking at it that you need for medicine. You need, you know, whether the pH is, and remember we looked at one before. What does it say?
Brix can be measured in the field, on a plant, or at a shop. It indicates the number of dissolved solids in a liquid measured via a specific gravity, or SG. 1 degree Brix is 1 gram of sucrose in 100 grams of solution. So 1 equals Brix equals 1% sugar. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different stages of fruit maturity.
Who is this person anyway?
Some scientific, somebody that looked up on Wiki, I'm sure of it.
And so so only a few in the beginning. What happened was people have been using it mainly to measure sugar. Okay, so wine, whatever, right? But along comes people like me and go, well, I think it's measuring. It's also telling you your mineral levels, and it is.
Well, the higher your Brix, the more minerals you've got, because it takes the minerals to make those sugars at a higher level.
Right, but it doesn't break it down to however many types of minerals. Remember, there's 96 different minerals you need. So you're not going to find 96 different lines in that tiny little refractometer. You're just going to basically find the sugar levels. And the way it looks like when you look through a telescope, you're going to see a white level and a black level, where the white level and they like a ladder with numbers on it. So it will start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? It goes on up. And where the black and white meet, where the top black, white, and the black bottom meet, that place right there is where the Brix level is.
Yeah.
Right? That place is where the Brix level. So one of the things that was figured out by all, because I'm not the only one that's been doing this. Lots of other people who are really cool people just have studied. That's why I wanted to show you this really cool ebook that was given to me about 30, 40 years ago, which I do have. And it's in this computer. If I can figure out how to share, I think what I have to do is before I log in here, I have to basically pull up the page of the window already there to that file. So then I can just share that window, because it wants to share the whole window. I only want to share a certain window that comes up. But anyway, what they did was that they did studies and a whole bunch of tests and stuff to figure out how the Brix level measures compared to minerals. And basically what they did was they starved some plants of minerals until it looked really bad, and see what the Brix level was and see how it correlated, or they started feeding them really well with minerals. I mean, when you do for me, what happens is that, because I do foliar feeding, and foliar feeding is absorbed immediately by the plants, as opposed to when you put food under the root systems of a plant. It takes a while for it to go through there, and it doesn't really show you, because it turns out that there are several different ways to take a reading. So if you have a plant, just say a tomato plant. So most of the time, people will take and read the tomato, the actual tomato fruit, right? And do a Brix reading from that. Well, I'm the type of person that's kind of weird, and I go, well, how about if I did the flower? Right, there's that and that's what I was looking. I was going to pull something up like that, very, very similar, and you can see where the dark and the white meet, and right in there, it's basically like a 16 Brix.
Yeah.
And this particular one, I'm not sure what it's for, but it has 2 different types of readings on either side. So it really depends what it was being used for. You don't read for our case. You only have the Brix level. You don't need these other things. But there are more and more complicated type of refractometers, right, that you could use. So what I started doing was I said, okay, And it's interesting too, because I parallel with me myself, there were other people doing the very same things. They said, well, gee, if I could measure the reading on the tomato fruit, what's the reading for the flower of the tomato? What's the reading for the leaf of the tomato? So you'll find that the fruit will give a different reading because it's sweeter, sugar, and also too, depending on the time of year, on the level of that the tomato gets riper and riper and riper, the sugar level will change, right?
Right.
Right. So you have to learn whether basically the general at this level, this is when it's ripe. This is when it's ready. It could get really, really, really super ripe and maybe get even sweeter. Doesn't necessarily mean like it's good, because by getting sweeter, actually it ferments. It gets sweeter. It becomes like wine, right? It becomes stronger. That's why the people were using it for making wine. They want to measure that fermented level of it, right?
Yeah.
Right. But so
now, we do have a question, Andy. And Ghetto Heppy's pretty much answered it, but can a high bricks plant be safe from pests or diseases?
Can a hybrid plant be safe from pests and diseases? Of course. This is what I wanted to show you in terms of the measurement. In terms of what I have a chart, and the chart clearly tells you about the level of the pest and disease you would get according to the bricks level. And I can tell you because I have it memorized pretty much already as to what they are, because I've experienced it so many times. So let's just look at a tomato plant. So again, you want to understand the difference between the fruit, the flower, and the leaf.
Yes.
And let me explain a little bit of that, and I can go right back to tell you about how you can tell compared to diseases. So when you're looking at the fruit, that's the end result that you're going to get.
Yeah.
The diseases and pests usually don't attack the fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because the fruit is a fermented product. That whatever that is it's the plant that you want to deal with, or the flower that you want to deal with. That's why you want to check the bricks reading of those. And the way you do that is a little different, because you basically have to grind it up, but take some of the juice out of it to use the juice. You have to get the juice of the flower or the juice of the leaf. The leaf is a lot easier because you can crush it and rub it on the lens. You have the chlorophyll, right? You see whereas the flower, you're gonna have to add a drop of distilled water to get some liquid going there and put that on the screen. And you'll find that it does correlate to pests and diseases. So a tomato plant, you would want to have a bricks level. An excellent is PAGE, PAGE, poor, average, good, and excellent.
Okay.
PAGE. That's what's called the PAGE system. I didn't develop this. Like I said, other people like myself said, okay, let's study this. They're really scientific freaks, and they would develop all these little things, which is really cool. So PAGE, PAGE, poor, average, good, and excellent. So poor, so I'll go backwards. So excellent would be like you have 28, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Somewhere in there is excellent. So then you back up and the high, so anywhere between 15 and 20, so before excellent, you have average. So you have, say, 15 on up to 20, that's average. 15 can vary a little bit. And then you have poor, average. No, good. So poor, average. Good is the one from 15 up to 20. Average would be maybe from 10 to 15, and poor would be anything below 10. So I don't know if I talked to you about. I went into a health food place one day, and the guy was offering some citrus. Now citrus is slightly different bricks levels. Maybe the highest you go with citrus would be like 32. His citrus was at a 7.
Ew.
So I told the guy. So and then he also had that conventional and unconventional section. So we took a citrus from the unconventional, which was the chemical one, and conventional was the organic one, and tested each one of them. The organic one was a 30. The other one, the conventional, was at a 7. I said, which one would you eat? And he had to think about that for a second. He automatically said, I'll get to 30, right? See what I mean?
Yep.
And so, but it is, so the way it works with pests and diseases is the same thing. So if you have a pour, you know you're going to be getting diseases and pests. There's no way around it. Average, you're a little better off, but you're still going to be getting pests and diseases. Then good means, okay, so the pests and diseases will radically be reduced. You're going to get them, but if you have to learn how to deal with them, you can manage. And then you have excellent, means no pests, no diseases.
Yeah.
Every time, no way in heck that's going to happen. There might be other things that could be damaged. It could be something like frost could damage it, or maybe something got knocked. It gets damaged physically, or maybe the wind or fire. Lots of other things, water damages, right? But generally, this will tell you exactly. And so what people have learned to do, and the refractometer is really a good gardener like me. I don't really use a refractometer. I don't have to get a refractor. Oh, this is good. I can just grow it and go, wow, that is good.
Yeah.
You can tell the health of the plant when you do tomatoes. I mean, for many, I've done this so often. You go to a fair, right? You go to a place where they are. It's a county fair where they're growing things, right? The
Farmers market kind of thing.
Yeah, they're growing, and they're bringing their produce, and they show the plants and all this kind of stuff. And you'll find that every time you can look. I mean, in my garden, when I grow stuff, I don't have to test anymore because I've done it over. And I was talking to a lady yesterday, and she's saying, I have these diseases on my plant. I have 1,000 of them. They're all dying. The chemicals are not working. And we don't know what's going on. Somebody says this guy does voodoo. Maybe you should talk to him. And so yeah. So I was telling her that what she has to understand is that the it's all about trace minerals. And she was insisting that I said you can get a soil test done.
Yeah.
And it's $300, but I can tell you exactly what's wrong without even paying. Give me the $300 and I'll tell it to you.
Yeah.
Because I've done it so many times, and it's the same thing over and over and over and over again. Just like today, I did 2 houses. These people are on the every other month schedule now. They've both been with me for about 15, 20 years. They both had the same problem. And the same, and I go there and I constantly am pumping the biology into the place, constantly doing the biology to these places all the time. And I'm always telling them, put a whole property filtration system. The first thing I asked this lady, she says, why is everything dying? I said, well, your soil is dying. What's left is dying. You keep putting chemicals into the soil, and then you don't stop. Constant chemicals, whether it be in the water, in the city water, or the fertilizers that you're dumping, constant chemicals. You don't give the soil, and then when's the last time you used anything alive, any compost alive that you added? None. It's nada. And the other place I went there, I told her, I said, when's this last time? He says, come here, I want to show you something. As a matter of fact, I wish I had access. I have to learn how to have access to my phone on this thing here, because the Mac and the phone should talk to each other. And I'm seriously going to have to figure this out, because I just shot a video of a disease on the apple, and you know how it bleeds out. It looks like amber. The whole thing just starts to bleed.
The tree itself or the fruit?
The sap. The tree itself.
Sap. Okay.
From the bark. And there are many different kinds of diseases and stuff, and I don't really worry about their names, but I can tell that a disease when I see one. And I told him, I've been telling him for years, I've been going there for 15, 20 years. And the first month I said, what do you want? Do you want grass, or do you want your fruit trees? Do you want a lawn, or do you want your fruit trees? Right? And so they water the lawn 3 or 4 times a week. 3 or 4 times a week they water their lawn. And it's like for 5 minutes each time. Not
Right.
a single earthworm in the place. They have
No
horses.
biology in the place either.
They have horses. They have cows. No, they have, excuse me, pigs. They got big pigs as big as cows. They got horses, tiny horses. The pigs are bigger than the horses, okay? And they have chickens. And so when I first met this, what are you doing with this stuff? I'm throwing it. We're throwing it away. I'm going, holy shit! And then I got them to make compost. There seems to be a problem with people making compost, even if you have all these animals. So I said, today he said, what's wrong? I said, well, you're making compost and you're putting it in your vegetable garden. You're putting it a little bit over there, but this place here is the lawn. So they planted fruit trees in the middle of their lawn, like 8 fruit trees right there in a row, and they water the lawn, and they figure that's enough for the trees. And I said, well, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take the lawn out. Because I also looked at all the other trees. They're all starting to bleed as well.
Right.
They're all starting to bleed as well. And this is a definite soil disease. It basically, when the tree does that, it's trying to heal itself. Basically, that's what it is. It's trying to heal itself, cover up the wound, fix it. But this is not a kind of disease that can be healed from. It only gets worse. The root systems, if the root system is not functioning properly, right, that's
Right.
a big problem. And of course, chemical fertilizers are effective only because it gives an immediate jolt. Right, it's a defense mechanism, Victor. You're absolutely right. That's what it's an immediate jolt. Chemicals do not need biology in the soil. You don't need, it's like a cocaine addict. You don't need anything else, just the cocaine. You don't need to even inject it to your body. You just snort it, but touch it, look at it, right? So so the biology, so chemicals shock the plant, makes it look good. It grows really fast, but then it's weak. It doesn't have the minerals. It gets super attacked by disease. All that stuff happens to it. So I was telling him that I told him again, okay, I'm going to tell you again. Do you want the lawn or do you want these trees? Which of these do you want? Because I told him a long time ago about planting native grasses underneath the trees there, for example. It looks very nice. They grow really well. You don't have to. You water the trees, not the lawn. So I said, okay, you're going to have. I'm not going to tell you again. And I took a video of it, and I think by next show I will have it together so that I can show you from my phone what I do, because you really have to see this in person. And I go through this all the time with various different people. So I told him you have to scrape the lawn off, take it off. And I showed him the soil. It's not soil. It's some kind of hard clay. I mean, you have to hit it with a hammer. So I said, imagine the roots, how they're living down in there.
Yeah.
You know. And so I said, you have to take it. You have to slowly scrape it off. Throw that stuff away. You can even dump it in your big giant compost pile.
Yeah.
I hope you'll remember your significant other today. No, I don't go for this Valentine's Day stuff. Today's Lent, where you can, the reason why I like Lent is because yesterday you can do whatever you want to. You get away with it. That's my favorite part of Lent.
Not going there.
Yeah. So I told him you have to take everything out, carefully go through it, remove as much as you can without damaging the roots. In other words, I told him you can't pull the tree out, fix the soil, put the tree back in again. It's not going to work. Superman would do that for you. But you have to take everything out. You're going to have to get a mixture of compost, because he makes good compost now. He gets the horse manure, he gets the pig manure. He has the chickens, he has that to it. I give him some rock dust to use, and when I go spray, I also inoculate it with lots of microbes. But he's not really going around applying it to all the and the lawn robs nutrients from the trees, and I spray them, and they're getting their nutrients, but these guys are heavy eaters. Yeah, exactly right. The lawn rob nutrients from the trees, and they're not. Well, and what's really weird is that, see, they're not doing any fertilization at all. They don't do anything. I come and feed it, but the lawn will suck up whatever nutrients it's in the ground. It's in the ground. The trees won't get it, and then the lawn requires a lot more water, which the trees do not get it. So the lawn are getting bigger. They're looking really good, but the fruit trees are not doing very well. And it's
Nope.
very. And the other place I went to, the second place I went to, it has a similar problem. She has citrus, so she
Right.
has a slope. So everything was dying on the slopes. I said, let's put some native grasses up there, like slope, no mow, some type of non-grass that you don't have to cut. So I put a drip system up there. So what they did wrong is they put like 8 lines. You only really needed 2 lines. Okay, 2 drip lines running across. You know, whenever you do a drip system on the slope will naturally take the water, run it down. You don't have, right? So one drip up further up and another drip this way will all get water. But you have 8 lines, and then you have the citrus at the bottom of the little slope in a little well, and with its own line of water.
Oh, she's drowning it.
Yeah, and the trees are like the fruit trees are like shriveled up. And I've been saying for years now. I said first of all, 2 lines would be more efficient. Secondly, why are you watering this native grass like every 3 or 4 times a week or daily or some stuff like that? Because they only need once a month's watering. So I told them just turn it off. Don't water that anymore. And then I come back, it's back on again. Putting swells on the slope. Swells is. What would help would be I tell her, take out 6 of the drip lines. Just take out 6 of the drip lines. Leave only 2 drip lines there for the grass, and then you only change the timer to water once, one good deep watering a month. That's all the native grass will need.
Yeah.
A citrus. I have a customer that I've had since 1984, and I was the gardener there for many years. Once a month, it gets a 40-minute drip line watering. Once a month.
Mm-hmm.
So the second place I went to, you see a 1 line of citruses, tiny shriveled up things, and there's several citruses out here in Never Land, hardly getting any water. Gorgeous looking. And so as a matter of fact, later on today, I'm going to text her. These citruses are getting too much water. This is what they look like when you don't overwater. Because I had. Could you put that what Silly says?
Yeah.
What does it say?
Andy, I had trees that drowned because of relentless rain one year. You told me to spray them. I did, and my white birch had leaves come out on one branch. Can I do more to help it?
Okay, what did you spray them with?
We sprayed it with worm castings. I soaked them in water. Get as much biology out as I can. Goes in a 25-gallon spray unit, and then just wanded them straight spray with the water and the worm casting extract.
So here's what's going on. They're soaking. There's too much water and not enough oxygen down there.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, what I tell people to do when there's too much water, you want to air it out, and so you get a lot of times people get these plastic pipes, which I don't like. I buy these clay drain pipes, and I use a post hole digger, and I put the 2 feet the drain pipe into the ground vertical. Goes down in there, and put a little cap on it. Air goes right in through it, and they literally sucks in the air. Helps to dry it out. But what you need to do also too is you need to spray more biology to the soil, because the microbes will help to bring more oxygen into the soil. Yeah. That's what's needed. You have to and also too, you have to look and see if water's sitting. I would make the water run off to the one side or another. A lot of times when they're sitting in wells, like recently, all the rain I've had, people's fruit trees are sitting in water, literally sitting in water, because they're not draining. It's not draining, and so a lot of times I've had to make a way for water to drain away from the plants. Mm-hmm. So and especially now we're getting so much rain, and it's a real big problem for the biology in the soil, because biology are not underwater swimmers. And And so when they get deprived of that, the plants start getting deprived of the food. So the plants will start to suffer. One of the ways you can help the plants is do the foliar feeding. So there are some castings. It's an excellent way to foliar feed them. I think you should use the C90 because that provides a good wide range of trace minerals.
I don't have any C90, Andy.
But you can't get it. You can't get it, huh?
I can get it, but the cost of bringing it into Canada is like stupid, just like really stupid.
What you have to do is try to find something nearby that's kind of like Victor says, water-soluble nutrients. So look at sources that you have around you, different stores, different locations, and see what it is that they're selling, and see if they have anything that offer. One of the things I've learned when I've had a hard time finding things for plant, I just go get stuff for humans.
Yeah.
Right. So you can go look at for water-soluble nutrients for people. Right. And they're just as they have the same trace minerals, and the plants will use them too as well.
Because it's not the plant that's using it; it's the biology
anyway, right?
That's using it.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So that's what I would do. I would go to a health food store and say, "Hey, what do you have for trace minerals?" Because right now I could probably run to the kitchen and show you a bottle of trace minerals for humans that I also give it to my plants.
Actually, that never crossed my mind, Andy. So thank you. Guys, that's a gold bar. I better put that up on the screen. That is a total gold bar.
Pure gold. I literally, I would love to just run over to the kitchen and come back with this bottle. And this bottle is like, so I've gone through, and my search for one of the things I learned about trace minerals, I need the trace minerals too.
Yes.
Right? So I've been searching for trace minerals that I can take that are in a natural form. So I'm always looking for trace minerals. So I go from one guy that I really like to another person I like even better to another person. So I got pretty much the top of the line where I can get here, but it's basically I don't like to buy it from Amazon. It's hard to tell what the heck you're getting. So you have to walk in the store and look at it. So in a health food store, you look at, you read the ingredients, you see how it's made. And so that's what I would do, is to get something that's really good for people. It'll say trace minerals, all this stuff. Yeah, bingo. And then find the right amount you want. So remember the law a little bit. Too much trace minerals, no good. So the plants are, the biology is very different. So it's just like tiny little people. So you want to give them tiny amounts.
Yeah.
So you want to start off with the smallest amount you can think of, which is really something more like along the lines of, in terms of drops, tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon in a gallon of water is a good amount. A way to tell, here's where the refractometer comes in, is you do a reading before you do the spraying, wait 24 hours and do the reading again. You will see a jump in the Brix level readings. And that's what you want to do. That's one reason why you use a Brix level, because you do something, refractometer, you do something and you see what the results was.
Yeah.
Right. So I would go out and spray a citrus plant, for example, with a customer that I knew that was really like a level 10. And then I would come back 24 hours and spray, and not spray, do a read. I would do a reading, I would spray, and then 24 hours later, I would do another reading.
Yeah.
And see what kind of jump the readings did. If it was healthy enough to absorb the nutrients, the Brix level should go up. If the Brix level did not change at all, then it means the plant is not absorbing the nutrients. Not using. It's one thing to absorb the nutrients, another thing to use them. Right? To use it.
Yeah.
Have it function. Things have to be functioning in the plant's body. But it does tell you, wow, look at this. I call it the rubber band effect, because you can also do it on trees. So one of the ways I teach people about diseases is, okay, let's do a Brix reading on this branch, whether it be a cypress or whatever. You can take a little bit of the branch of the leaf, crush it into juice, put it on your refractometer, read it, and then you can do a spray on it and come back 24 hours later. 24 hours is a good, reasonable amount of time for the plant to have absorbed it. Do the same reading again and see what the Brix level is. That'll tell you right off the bat. And a lot of times, what I've found is when I go, like I'm dealing with this cypress. This one lady has about maybe 30 or 40 or 50 cypress. The Italian cypress, the really tall, skinny things. Again, I'd love to show you and I will. I promise you guys, I will start to show you what I'm doing because that's really more fascinating than actually talking about it. And you can literally see it. And people say, "What are you spraying? Like a blue-green dye or something?" Because the plants change color almost immediately. It's like they're starving. They're starving for this special trace mineral, and as soon as they get it, they go, "Oh!" And you absorb it. It's not a thing where they don't want it. They literally are geared to absorption. One of the things I was talking to Michelle today about was she says, "Well, it's really dark and cloudy, and it's really super wet, and it's sprinkling and raining. This is not a good time to be spraying." What is it? I missed it. I haven't been keeping up with the chat, but a swale set up overflow away from your trees will help. Yeah, exactly right. If you have the ability to make the water flow in a certain directions, that's what you want to do. Lots of people here in Malibu, the water runs straight down to the ocean, doesn't even stop. I tell them, make little waterfall, make little boulders so they have to go over, slowly build up, maybe have a pond or build a nice dip, like a pool area where the water will sit and let slowly sleep out. But that's one of the things you want to do with the refractometers. You want to do something, and spraying is the fastest way to tell because you use something, you put it in the root system. It could be a long time before that even becomes available to the plant, if it becomes available to the plant. Yeah. But if you spray the plant, then you want to once you test before you spray, right? And then you spray 24 hours later. One of the reasons why you wait 24 hours later is you don't want to be testing the actual liquid.
Right.
That you sprayed, right? Because you'll still be on the leaf to a certain extent. And that would change the Brix level reading as well, because it's actually the biology does produce its own sugars. So you actually do a Brix level reading on your biology liquid. You can tell, and that's an interesting thing too, because the more you bubble it, the higher the Brix level goes up. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. So that's one of the things that you want to learn to use a refractometer with if you're in your learning process. After you do it about 100 times.
And Victor says you don't want to burn the leaves from overspraying, and that's where tracking your Brix, you are seeing how much you have sprayed. You'll be able to judge how much more do I need and how often.
Well, here's the thing about using biology. You cannot overspray. Now, if you have a fertilizer, a fertilizer becomes available. Especially a chemical fertilizer. That's one reason why it gets pretty. If you spray whatever you spray, instantly it gets sucked right in. So you can definitely overspray that way. But if you're spraying biology, if you're spraying the trace minerals with the biology, and it's against a small amount of trace minerals, you can spray all day that plant. And you can pour tons of water. You're not going to burn it. It's not going to cause any overreaction to it because it would only give you so much anyway. The biology aren't going to produce so much. It's not going to double. Right? If you double the biology, doesn't mean you're going to double the amounts of trace minerals or the concentration of it. Right? Understand?
Yeah, you're just doubling your workforce to use what you're giving. Now, I think more Victor is maybe salt-based or something like that, and not a high enough dilution rate. But the biology is the key. You can't add too much biology. You can't add too much workforce.
So, Silly, what I would do is, do you guys do anything with worms? You don't do much with worms over there because it's too cold now, or what?
I actually, my worms did pass this winter in the cold. I have to get some more worms and keep them in the grow so that I can keep them going. But I just have some worm castings, and then I have some vermicompost that I created here a few years ago as well.
Well, see, don't you have like a basement or a cellar where is
I do, but unfortunately that's not where the worms were when it got super cold out, and by the time I realized they weren't in the house,
Yeah,
Because
you
it was
have to
safe
get them in the house.
outside, it was too late.
But if you could get the worms growing and use the leachate from the worms, that would
Yeah,
really help the plants because whatever you spray, what silly should concentrate is on two things. One, giving nutrition to the plants that they can absorb because they need nutrition right now. That's the most important thing that they have to get. They have to get some nutrition into them, right?
yeah,
Right? They have to get the nutrition into them, which will help them to eventually survive long enough till the water will dry out and the biology start to come back. Because that's what
yeah,
happens. The food has been cut out from it, and the oxygen will be cut from it. What I do, that's why the worms are so good because you have this living biology that you can not only spray on the plant, but you spray it onto the soil because that would
yeah,
also provide more oxygen for them. The other thing is that you definitely want to be able to aerate your soil. Now, one of the things you can do, and I do, is I have a spraying rig. The spraying rig has a bubbler, so it bubbles.
right.
It's super aerated. Seems like 12 watching stoners forgot their duty. I missed that part. What happened to 12 stoners?
7 likes, 12 people watching. Why isn't it 12, likes already? Come on, stoners. You forgot their duty to get out and hit that thumbs up button. And it's like, oh, super cold and clear and a beautiful sky. I don't know if we're getting auroras today. I haven't tracked the Schumann today. I know that we're still dealing with a lot of magnetic energy that we got a few days ago here.
So the other thing too that would be really good, silly for you to do is to learn how to use biochar. You guys
Mm-hmm.
get a hold of any biochar there?
I actually make it myself. I have quite a
Oh, you
bit.
make it yourself? Are you helping Silly with any of her tree problems with the biochar?
I haven't made that much biochar, and it was for the use in the garden, not necessarily in the trees.
Well,
But
then,
Andy, uh, our problem, or one of our problems, is we had 3 weeks of steady downpours, where our property was totally flooded. We're at the bottom of a hill,
yeah, a lot of
and
water.
the drainage system runs along our property to take all the water away. So our trees, there's a little dip on our property. I'd have
We're
to
soaking the water.
bring in a lot of dirt to raise it up to have it, go away. And time, with my injuries, I can only do so much. It's like,
Yeah,
I literally got out and dug a hole and put it in a sump pump to pump water out.
yeah, it's a
But that
tough
was the
one.
best I could do.
It's a tough one when you have so much water and it dumps it in there, and you really because ideally you need to set it up so water flows around you or flows down, goes somewhere else.
Yeah,
But so the only real solution is to concentrate on the foliar aspects of how you feed things and
yeah,
hope that they survive so that when things dry out, and even then you want to continue that. Ideally, you want to do this as much of the foliar spraying as possible. We can't put
yeah,
too much soil, otherwise it'll suffocate the trees that way too. No, yeah, it's basically you have to concentrate on their foliar. Do you have any way to do foliar sprayings? How do you do that?
On my pump sprayer, I have created a boom sprayer. It's originally just for a pump for walking around and spraying
Uh-huh.
trees, etc.
Uh-huh.
So we have that wand, and then I built a 8-foot boom, that sprays on the grass. I was doing a lot of lawn. We were taking our clippings off the lawn and feeding them to friends' chickens. And then I realized, hold on, I'm taking all the organic material off my property, which
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to do that. So now I bought a mulching mower and spraying the biology. You can see over the last 2 years how things have reactivated. But that flooding was a couple of years ago, and the trees, I'm not sure what's going to survive this year. We'll have to see
Yeah.
what happens.
You're just going to have to increase the biology as fast as you
Yeah,
can, and you increase the biology in the soil. You have the more roots in the soil, the better the water drainage, the better you'll be able to deal with water. But
yeah,
when you get water that's a foot deep, just 2 feet deep, and sitting there, you have a problem.
Oh,
You
well,
know?
and the thing is, from one year to the next, Andy,
Yeah.
because we got one corner that's really low on our property that generally floods every spring a little bit. This last year,
Everything.
it didn't flood at all because the aggregation and the biology had built down far enough where it just drew the water right through and didn't hold the surface water. So we are making the improvements with the biology, but it's a slow, steady progress.
Do you have animals?
My dogs and cats and my wife. Oh, did I say that out loud? Oh, sorry.
You did. That's very, very bad. You're in trouble now.
I know. I'm always in trouble and I love it. Okay.
Over here,
I
we have
love
a
it.
lot of the same problems in that it's just really super raining a lot. All kinds of problems here. There's hardly any biology here as it is now. So now people have more mud, stuff like that, and more diseases are ramping up. The chemical people are dumping more and more chemical, more fertilizers to bring things back, but it's a very temporary thing. And then, right, more roots in the soil is the key. That's it right there in a nutshell. In my backyard, I was just going nuts, letting anything grow. I have an amnesty. My friend would come over and start. Andy set you straight on the trees. I did in the one tree where white birch had leaves come out on one branch. Exactly. If you can, and remember, you spray the trunk too because they absorb nutrients through the trunks as well. And it doesn't have to have leaves on it. It's just today I was spraying all the bare trees that had fruit trees that had dropped all their leaves and everything. Normally happens.
Right now, if I go out and spray my trees, Andy, it's just going to form ice on them. Okay.
Right.
I don't live in Malibu where it's warm. Okay.
Right. Today was 57 degrees. And it was cold, man. It was cold.
Oh, you poor baby.
It was 57 degrees. You're kidding me. So every place is really different. And so you're just going to have to try to key into as much of the because this show is all about the biology. And that's exactly what you have to do. Exactly what people have to do in each one of their properties. Increase the biology so that anything can happen. They'll make it through that. They'll be strong enough to make it through that. Otherwise, there's going to be, you want to spray the tree before it's freezing.
Like have you ever seen the videos, Andy, when it's -40 up here, -50? You take boiling water and you just throw it.
Right.
And it just freezes as it goes. Yeah, that's where I live, okay? So,
right, and that's why I don't live there. Right.
We love you, Andy.
I was telling this lady today, yesterday, all these people keep stopping me because they see me and they say, I know who you are. And one of them, I was talking about, I ended up talking about Florida, Miami was where I grew up. And over there, the rain is warm.
Yeah.
Right. So the coldest it gets is like 70 at night, something like that. Right. You know what I mean? So I got the name Invisible Gardener because I would go out at night and spray things. And I love spraying in the rain. I actually got in trouble once because I was spraying naked and people were going, I was in the paper.
But you were invisible. Who could see you?
And I kept saying, that was my excuse. Wait a minute. I'm invisible. You can't see me. So what's the point? There's no problem here, right? And the guy said, well, we need to talk because, we can see you. I go, rats. Don't forget Florida, Andy. Yeah, I love Florida, man. Florida is one of my favorite places. I would like to go back there, but I'm not really sure if I can make it in Florida. It's too well right now. It's I do better here, even though it's very expensive in Malibu. People here have more money than nations, and that's the key too. Because in the valley, it's like 100. Right now, it's like 21 degrees in certain places over there. Right, just 20 minutes from here, just 20, 30 minutes, you go skiing, mountain, all that stuff. Whereas by the ocean, it gets down to maybe 47 at night.
Okay, now the microbes here miss you, Andy.
I know, and the microbes. I'm in love with microbes. You should see I have all kinds of stuff. I have a new logo that I'm working on for happy microbes, like a male microbe, a female microbe, a little family of microbes. You go shopping, So I'm always into that. And recently, I was just talking to the city of Malibu started to ban pesticides and chemicals, and I said, well, now that you ban them, you need to teach people what they could do as an alternative. And one of the things I'm teaching them is, just start your own worm farm. One of the easiest way to do it. Lots of other ways to increase the biology. Forget about pulling weeds. Forget about pulling weeds. If you have weeds growing, let them grow.
Yeah, and if you want to get rid of them before they seed out, just chop them and drop them. Let them feed the soil and the biology.
And that's exactly what I did just yesterday, because lots of weeds came up. Everybody can grow, and I was just gave them all a haircut, left it back down again. Come back up again. You guys are welcome to. And what they bring up, when they grow and when they decompose, they're putting back exactly what the soil needs. See, right? Yeah. And it's really cool. And so I'm actually taping it, the garden process, because it's got to go for. So I'm in the process of thing you're doing for the city. Exactly right. And the city is such a trip because, if it's done correctly, a sustainable city. I had the dream where a pilot flying over a city couldn't find the city because everything was covered in trees. Couldn't find the airport.
The Aztecs. That's how it is now. Everything's covered in trees.
Where?
The Aztecs. All the ruins down in Peru and South America, it's all covered in trees.
Yeah, and that's why I right now most of the tree cover in cities is like maybe 10-20%. It should be at least 70%, 80%. And there would be a big difference. There would be a big difference in pollution level. It would be a big difference in just even absorption from rain, how you deal with drought.
Well, have you seen the high rises they're building down in different areas that actually have green spaces on the outside of the buildings to help with heat and air conditioning?
Yeah.
I've been actually watching a lot of desert landscape restorations from around the world, talking of swales and stuff and ponds. Capturing that water in those dry environments is so utterly important, and doing it, you can do it off the dew of the leaf, sucks dew every morning into the soil. Your plant will water itself if the biology is there and the aggregation is there.
Patrick wants to know when the Dance to Dance book is out. It's been out for a long time, but what's happening now is that I have a book called Don't Panic, It's Organic. I put the Dances with Ants book for free into that book. It's right in that part of the book. And you can get that from my website. Well, it takes you to Amazon, but if you go to Amazon, you start looking for natural air control or this, you're going to find lots of other things that are not me. So this way, you go directly, you find the book. It's called Don't Panic, It's Organic. It'll say for free, Dances with Ants in the center of it. So that book is right in there with it. And it's really cool. It's not about killing ants. It's not about killing ants. It's understanding that the ants are Mother Nature's gardeners, Mother Nature's janitors. They're supposed to clean up and get it together for us. That's their job. They remove waste and they channel it over there and move it over there. And $20 is a good deal. Really, it's one of the best books I've ever written. And so you get 2 books in there. So when I saw Dances with Wolf, I changed my thing because it was how to control ants naturally. I changed it to Dances with Ants because that's what you do. You learn how to communicate. You learn how to communicate with the ants. Like I'm talking to the queen ant. Okay, let's make a deal. I'll feed you guys over here if you stay out over there. I mean, I don't want you guys in my bathroom. I don't want you guys in my bedroom. You got plenty of. You can run around outside, do all you want. You see, right?
Yeah.
And ants are important, but whenever you have an infestation of any one thing or ants, whenever the ants are out of control, your soil is having a problem. Because your soil,
you're out of balance.
Right. The soil will control the population of the ants or anything else in that soil. I mean, the biology will control the population of ants or anything else in that soil.
Yeah.
And that's the key right there. That's the key to everything. And you don't really need to know anything other than get really good at making the best compost and enhancing the biology of your soil. And then you're going to find out, gee, I can do the biology of myself, right? Makes my biology better at it too, because it's the same thing what's going on in our stomach, right?
Well, and
Our
if you're
time is up, by
growing
the
a
way.
garden using that biology, the plants are drawing it into their cell structure. When you're consuming it, you're getting the trace minerals. Oh, like we're supposed to be getting.
And that's even better. I mean, I really, really like being a cow. I got so many times my wife would say, Andy, go out and pick some vegetables. I said, okay. So I'll be out there picking vegetables. I came back with an empty tray. What happened to the vegetables? I ate them all.
They were just, the bricks level honey was unbelievable.
It takes them for me. It's true. I would sit, and even to this day, Michelle would say, you need some greens with your vegetables. I said, well, I'll go to the store, buy some greens, and I can't eat them all on the same day, and they all go bad. And the greens I buy in the store were picked days, if not months ago.
Yeah.
There's a big difference. You go out to the garden, click, click. Within hours, you ate it.
Yeah.
Or even eating it right there. So there's a big difference, and that's the whole thing what we need to learn about. Well, guys, I swear I would have this. So now I'm using the Mac before my PC got bored, so you went to sleep over there. and I have tons and tons of videos, tons and tons of things that I can do in it, and it's really good for you guys to understand how this process works. One of my goals is to have other people like me start their own business, doing the very same thing I've been doing for 40, 50, 60 years, making a good living out of it, at the same time healing people's soils. How's that?
I would love to actually, have the town I live in, the city I live in, switch to all their green spaces being controlled by biology. I think that would be a key.
That's what you have to do.
There's more land controlled by the government, roadsides, parks, etc., than there is under cultivation for farming. If we can force the governments to make the change, holy chitlins, we got a chance to save the planet.
Hey, listen, Patrick, where do you think Florida's going? I know it's going to go underwater. I know what's going on over there. There's Swiss cheese problem and all that stuff. I'm not going to South Florida, brother. I'm going to North Florida. 2 different continents, okay?
Yeah, and so like Super Nessa has, when you get those nutrient-dense foods, your body starts to expel the poisons.
Exactly right. So I use what's called sun chlorella, which is very, very rich in a variety of different nutrients.
I have some upstairs.
And that's what it does. It eliminates toxins from your body. So guys, we're done today. I really enjoyed talking to you all, and we'll be back.
Peace out, guys. I'm going to end the broadcast. Next time.